وَفِي خَلْقِكُمْ وَمَا يَبُثُّ مِنْ دَابَّةٍ آيَاتٌ لِقَوْمٍ يُوقِنُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَفِي خَلْقِكُمْ, meaning to say, and in yourselves, and in the dabba, in the creatures that are spread out throughout this earth, there are signs for people who have surety of faith. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this verse for people who have surety of faith. Now, the human being at no time had the heart, hands, skin in different places, evolving out of nowhere. If you didn't have the heart, you wouldn't be able to live. If you didn't have the eyelid, you would not be able to have sight. If you did not have the skin, you would not be able to live. If you did not have the liver, you can't live. So it all had to have come in one single shot, meaning to say it all had to be created. You could not have been an alligator with the tail of a donkey and a head of a human being. This is only in the figment of Darwin's imagination, and it is there as for people to, in order to indulge in eugenics of saying that there's a superior race and there's an inferior race, and these are materialistic philosophies that are very godless and at the same time nonsensical, have nothing to do with science itself. So the human being is made in one time. Now look, in chapter 22, verse 73, Surah Hajj, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, He said, Ya ayyuhan nas, that O mankind. This is a very emphatic statement. Why? Because He could have said, O you who believe. But He says, Ya ayyuhan nas. He said, O mankind, ضُرِبَ مَثَلٌ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. He said that Allah is propounding an example, so pay attention there. Meaning to say, pay attention to this example that is coming to you after this. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, that verily the ones who worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would they be even able, if they were to gather all together, to even make a fly? To even make a fly. This is what Allah is saying, that O mankind, look, listen to this parable that's coming. If the ones who worship other than Allah, min dunillah, if they were to gather all together, would they be even able to make one fly? And then Allah goes further than that. It says, and if the fly was to take something from them, you would not be able to get it back from the fly. You see, the fly will come and take a piece of your food. First of all, you cannot create that fly. Secondly, if the fly was to take something from you and to take a tiny morsel which you can't even see with your naked eye, it will go with it because it will pick up something from your food. You would not be even able to get back that tiny morsel. So Allah is increasing the similitude to say that how weak we are. And then Allah says that the seeker and the sought, they're both weak. ضَعُفَ الطَّالِبُ وَالْمَطْلُوبُ. He said the seeker and the sought are both weak. Why? The seeker, the one who is trying to seek other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is weak. And the one who they are worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also weak. So both the seeker and the sought are both weak. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدَرِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَقَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that verily you have not estimated Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the right estimation. And verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Almighty, meaning powerful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is majestic. So Allah in this parable states that it is a parable of a fly. Make a fly. If you are a big person, if you have all of this scientific prowess, if you have all of these machineries that we keep bragging about, we can see the telescope, we can see Mars, and we can throw human beings into space, we can annihilate whole cities, we can devastate waterways, we can break bridges down and all this. make one single fly if you are so scientifically advanced. You can't. And if the fly were to steal something from you, you can't get it back. Because the seeker and the sought, if you're worshipping other than Allah, are both weak. And verily Allah is the most powerful and the most majestic. And this is the emphatic statement, because this is about a fly. And in another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, He says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَسْتَحْيِي أَن يَضْرِبَ مَثَلًا مَا بَعُودَةً فَمَا فَوْقَهَا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not shy to give you an example of a ba'uda, meaning a gnat, a mosquito, something that is very frail in the animal or the insect kingdom. Any of these things are very, very frail. وَمَا فَوْقَهَا, or anything above that. For example, a similitude of a spider or a fly. But this is to give, so for people to have surety of faith, that even in the smallest thing you are still extremely weak. That Allah says, lo, we have created you from a stinking fluid, and you will become an open opponent. Why? You become an open opponent because you say that there is no deity worthy. I don't worship anything. I am the one who's created everything. My prowess is from my brain. My intellection is what gives me my spring. It doesn't work that way. Allah said that He is not shy to give you a parable of a gnat. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَيَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that the ones who believe, they know that this is the truth from Allah. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَيَقُولُونَ مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَمَا يُضِلُّ بِهِ إِلَّا الْفَاسِقِينَ. That Allah states that the ones who disbelieve, that the one who's covered the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they said, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is Allah meaning by this parable? Meaning what is the meaning of this parable? Meaning a fly itself, that He is giving us a parable of this fly. The ones who believe, they have a surety why it is being given. The ones who don't believe, they say, what is the reason for this mosquito being propounded on us as a similitude? Why? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the ones who are guided will be guided, and the ones who are misguided, illa al-fasiqin, meaning to say that the ones who are transgress the bounds and they see that this is something as a farce, they will be misguided. Allah does not misguide until you want to misguide yourself. فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضْ فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. In their hearts is the disease, and Allah increases the disease. So the disease has to be there first. Allah does not wish any harm for His creation. He is the benevolent, the most merciful. So we cannot create a fly, nor take something from it. We are weak, frail, feeble, yet we are arrogant as human beings. Yet we are arrogant. You should be convinced that there is one God after this parable. It should shock you into submission to say, wow, I can't create a fly, nor can I take something from it. So why should I be worshipping something that is inferior to the one who created everything in this universe? The Quran states if there was more than one God, there would be much confusion on this earth. Reflect on the earth itself. It's extremely in a delicate balance. It is in a delicate balance. Look at the atmosphere. Nitrogen, 78%. Oxygen, 21%. Argon, less than 1%. Carbon dioxide, less than 0.03%. Reactive and non-reactive gases. Fragile equilibrium, but it's still existing. Although the human being is bent, that's why Allah says, لا تبديل لخلق الله. Don't change the creation of Allah. Now they're mating lions and tigers together so that they can see what comes out. They are changing the creation of Allah. They are trying to make something to play around. So Allah says in the Quran, not that the human being cannot manipulate and do things, because the genetics are still there. They did not create anything from nothing. If they were so big and the scientists were so great, we'll just give them what the human being is composed of. Water mostly, give them magnesium, potassium, iron, all of those things. Put it in a glass and say, here you go, big man, big woman, whichever one you are. Big in terms of stature, not in terms of size. So go ahead and create a human being. You can't. You won't be able to do it. You won't be able to do it. Because you are weak. The seeker and the sought, they're both weak.